Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, Lisa. Good morning. Baroque Cowgirl, can you remind me of your first name? I'm so sorry. I am so awful with names. I really am trying. And I don't want to keep calling you Baroque Cowgirl. And I know once you say it, I'm going to know what it is. But for some reason, I have such difficulty with names. It has been that way for a while. Good morning, Lisa. How are you guys doing this morning? First of all, what's the weather like there this morning? I don't even know what it was. When I first woke up this morning, I was up and out in the living room at around 10:30 this morning. Not 10:30, it's only 10 o'clock. 6:30 this morning. When Papa Jim was up at like 5:30, he was getting ready to go to work. And so I thought I'll get up and I'll sit with the doggies and have my coffee and see what's going on in the world, which is interesting. I'll have an interesting morning this morning to tell you about. But let me check the temperature. I'd love to know what's the temperature where you guys are at right now and what's your day looking like. It's sunshiny here. It's so beautiful out. But it's cold and there is there's Jack Frost. It's like Jack Frost showed up overnight. It says it's 18 and feels like 18 with no wind. So I know last night it was really, really cold. It got down really cold last night. So, but 18 now. Good morning, Laura from Hedgehog. Hey, ho, Homestead. Snow here in Ohio. We're expecting a snowstorm on Friday. So I will be doing all of my chores tomorrow instead of Friday like I normally do because I'm not going out on Friday. Baroque Cowgirl, overcast and 64 degrees. 37 and sunny where Lisa is. That's beautiful. It's beautifully sunny here, but it's cold. So let's just jump right into business with what's going on around here. I'll get this up and out of the way because I had chimed in on an earlier broadcast that Off the Wall Prepper was having. And I chimed in because he was focusing on something that had caught my attention yesterday that I had learned about. I wanted to get his take on it. Have hoodies on. Oh, installing wood floors. Ooh, fun. Anyways, it was this story out of Los Angeles, and many of you know I used to live in Southern California, but I cannot believe this story. And if you know what I'm talking about, I'll just be very vague here. But imagine your child going to school, and I believe this is middle school, 13, 14, I'm not sure of the age. And imagine your child coming home with their Pokey Pokey card showing that they got their Pokey Pokey because they were given pizza. They were only given pizza if they got their little Pokey Pokey. I would be upset. So Off the Wall Prepper was talking about that this morning, so I chimed in. And while I was in the middle of that and listening, an alert came through, and I do have it on my Facebook because I was going to keep an eye on it while we're in here talking this morning. Good morning, LP. 30 and snowing a bit. Good morning, Southern Roots. This morning, the little town where I go in and I do my shopping and go to the post office to mail my packages and stuff, I almost thought about going today, but I had my live. So my coffee live here has kept me from going into town, which is wonderful. I'm going to be doing it tomorrow. But I got an alert that came over my Facebook that all of the students in college, and this is a very small town, it's just a small community college that we have there, but an alert went out to all of the college students to stay locked down in their dorm rooms. All classes are closed. All staff do not report to work. The elementary schools and the middle schools and the high schools, all closed. Nobody come into school. Everything's locked down. And what the story is, and we're still waiting on more details, but there was a man outside of our elementary school down there with his pew pew of choice and was threatening to off everybody. So that entire police force was involved. Police forces from other surrounding communities were on their way in to help with the standoff. Yeah, they offered pizza they had the minor sign their consent to get something in exchange for the pizza. And this is LA County Unified School District. So this is not good. And I sense a really nice big fat lawsuit coming. And according to the mother who reported this to the news, she's not against the pokey pokey. She's even gotten it herself. But her son has medical issues. And this is why she didn't allow the son or didn't consent for the son until she had more information. And she was very upset to have him come home with this card and then to find out that it was in exchange for some pizza. And he was kind of told, don't tell your mom, don't want to get in trouble, kind of a thing. It is absolutely illegal. Absolutely. So I'm waiting to see what's going to happen there. But while I was waiting to hear about that, that's when what came down in our local community that we had all kinds of law enforcement moving in. Just before I came on, I actually had the news page pulled up for our tiny little newspaper because they were updating things on Facebook. And they just updated 5 minutes before I came on that the situation has been resolved. Everybody's, able to move about in the community again because they have eliminated that threat. I believe they eliminated it in a peaceful way. I shouldn't say eliminated. The threat is no longer an issue, so that's good. So yeah, crazy morning. Was a little bit worried about, where's my daughter-in-law right now? I know that my grandkids are in school, but they're in a different school district in a different community. So I wasn't worried about them, but if it can happen in that small community, and I don't know what let me look up real quick what the population is down here in this little town. And see. Okay, so the population of this little town that I'm speaking to you about today, 5,106. So it is a little tiny little town, and they were under complete siege. And yes, Lisa, unfortunately, it does happen everywhere. Just kind of sucks when it's in your own backyard. But I'm happy to report that it appears at this moment that everybody is safe. Good morning, Susie. Oh, did Denise pop in? Good morning, Denise. You just heard about that situation. Oh, they're reporting it on Channel 8. Okay. From what I understand, Denise, it's been resolved. So I'm sure we'll get more information as that comes about. I know there were a lot of parents commenting on Facebook that they were concerned because they had students in lockdown in the dorms and they needed an update. They needed to know what was going on. The students were reporting back to their parents that they were fine. They were just told to stay inside. And it will be interesting to see where that goes and what happens. So, but anyways, I'm just here this morning. I've had my coffee, so I brought some water up because I'm trying to stay hydrated. I'm going to be trying a new thing. Has anybody heard of Circle? It's Cirkul, I think. I'm going to try to order those today if I can. I tried ordering yesterday and for some reason my cards weren't working. But it's a really neat system where it will encourage you to drink more water instead of like dumping some sugar-free Crystal Light or whatever in your water, which right now I'm having no trouble drinking water. I'm drinking water all the time. But I thought it would be kind of nice to maybe have something a little different. There are these cartridges with the lid and the sippy spout. And you get a special bottle. And you put that sippy spout and the cartridge right on top of your bottle that they send you, and you screw it on. And it's got a dial, so you can dial the strength of the flavors that you want. So if you have the dial turned down to 0, when you drink, you get nothing but the water you originally put in the bottle. Then you can crank that dial up to 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever. And then whatever is in that cartridge is mixed in with your water when you drink it, and it doesn't backflow into your original water, which is awesome. And then every time you change out a cartridge, you have a fresh drinking spout, all these other things. And they have natural flavors. They have stevia sweeteners. They're all sugar-free, 0 calories. I'm looking into getting that. Yeah, everything is good, Susie. Good morning, Backlash Fisherman. How are you doing this morning? Good morning. Good morning. So I'm going to look into purchasing this thing called Circle. And when I get it, I'll come on and I will do a little review and show you exactly how it works. But I know that during the winter months, it's going to be a little more difficult for me to get my water consumption in because it's going to be cold. And drinking the coffee and the tea is not going to really hydrate me. It's going to dehydrate me. Good morning, Garden State Gardener Joe. How are you doing? You're okay. You're bored at work. It happens. What you gonna do except maybe pop onto a live and see what's going on in the world. So that was the first thing I wanted to address because I thought I was going to have to be popping back and forth, checking to see what the situation was with this little standoff. But thankfully, it looks like it has resolved peacefully. And tomorrow I will be going into the post office as opposed to Friday. In case you're wondering why I'm looking down, I'm crocheting at the same time. Why not? I've got orders to fill, you know. But I'm going to go in tomorrow because Friday we are expecting snow. And it's funny because the National Weather Service, they just released some models of what we're going to expect over the next, starting Friday into Saturday. And it's funny because usually they'll say, oh, you know, you got a 60% chance of snow. And usually that's pretty much what you get. But they released 4 little models. It was like, oh, it's almost like bingo. Because the first little picture they put out was like, you have a 20% chance of getting, or no, it was what is the percentage that you'll get 1 inch of snow? And then they've got the whole map and it's all color coded. It's like, oh, we've got a good chance of getting 1 inch of snow. Then the next picture is like, what are your chances of getting 2 inches of snow? And then you look, it's like, oh, we still have a pretty high chance. It's all color coded with the jet stream and everything. And oh, Garden State Gardener with this like little jib jab things. Yeah. So then it was like, what are your chances of getting 4 inches? What are your chances of getting 6 inches? So either way, no matter how you look at it, we're getting snow on Friday unless something happens and it just kind of misses us, but I don't think it's going to miss us. So I'm not going to do my chores on Friday like I normally do. So any of you who have orders, if the girly chimes in, I need to get in touch with you because your order's going out. Lena, your order's going out tomorrow. I'm going to try to get a hold of Off the Wall Prepper and get all of that buttoned down so their order can go out tomorrow. Monica, I'm going to take some pictures of some things that you had requested, so that will be posted later. I'll get some pictures to you for the canning mats and the dishcloths that I make. Good morning, Coffee Angel Crafts. Lynette, how are you? How's everybody doing this morning? So I'm just trying to get everything wrapped up so I can get things out in time for Christmas. And I don't know if you guys have been to the post office lately to mail out packages, but by golly, has shipping gone up? I was surprised how much shipping has gone up. If I would have known, and don't take this the wrong way, but it's true. If I would have known that shipping had gone up so much when I did my giveaway, everybody just would have gotten coffee mugs and I would not have sent out homemade gifts because goodness sakes, it's expensive. I don't know how you do it, Joe. Oh my gosh. So I will, I'm glad I didn't go in today with the standoff. I will be going in tomorrow as long as the entire community is in the all clear. And I hope that man that was at the elementary school today, who obviously has issues, I hope he gets the help that he needs. And I'm thankful that nobody was hurt and hopefully no students were already at school and traumatized or anything. I don't think so. So anyways, I do want to share something with you because it's the neatest thing. I received a chat last night through Facebook Messenger from an old coworker. And she and I worked at the same little charter school many years ago. And I worked with her while she was, engaged and then married. And I was one of her maids of honor. Am I a matron of honor because I was married? Anyways, I digress. I'm really a mess this morning. Must hydrate. I probably need more coffee. Anyways, she wrote to me and I worked with her during her pregnancy and it was a really nice time to spend together as friends. Her first pregnancy and talking about all of the new experiences and everything that she was going through. And here I was, a grandma already. And she wrote me last night and she said that little baby that she had while we were working together is now in the 8th grade. And they had to do a writing assignment in the 8th grade here, well, in California. And the writing assignment was they had to write an ode to something. And in my blog, I have an ode to my Sparklets bottle, which is hysterical because we were really, really poor at that moment in time. And it's like I had to raid the Sparklets bottle just to buy groceries one time. But she had to write an ode to something. And I appreciate you sharing everything about your life. Thank you, Joe. I appreciate that. Sometimes it's TMI, I know, but anyways, so she wrote me and she says her daughter, out of everything she could pick an ode to, everything in the world, it could have been anything. She chose to write, God, I'm such a mess this morning. She decided to write this following little excerpt. I'm going to read it to you. Not an excerpt, it's the whole thing. So she wrote an ode to Poobie, my baby blanket. So it says, Poobie, my baby blanket, soft, cuddly blanket. He gives me comfort when I sleep. He gives me comfort when I cry. I love him so much. I've had him for so long. My parents want me to wash him, but I don't. I've never even thought about if I will ever get rid of him. Even though he is just a blanket, he is much more to me. I snuggle with him every night. He makes me feel extremely thrilled when I see him. He is a yellowish-green blanket. He has tassels on the ends, and in the center he has a picture of Winnie the Pooh. He is so important to me. When I was younger, I was embarrassed of people knowing I had him, but now I don't care who knows. I'm proud of Poobie. He has been there for me through everything that has happened in my life. He brings me so much joy and happiness. I made her that little blanket before she was born. I made her that little Pooh Bear blanket before she was born. And that was my gift to her. And she doesn't remember me. I haven't seen her. I haven't seen her probably since she was maybe 3, 4, 5 years old. And I even remember when I would go visit, she would have that little Poobie blanket. And that was her security blanket. And she drug it all around her house. But now she's in the 8th grade. And what is that, 13, 14 years old? And she writes about her Poobie that I made for her when she was still in her mama's tummy. I'm telling you, I cried last night because I know there are times that I sit up here and I crochet and I crochet and I crochet and I do things and I make things. And I often wonder sometimes like, oh, do people cherish the things I make for them? Because when I go to the thrift store, I will go to the thrift store and I see Afghans on the shelf for 50 cents, Afghans on the shelf for $1. And some of them have a lot of detailed work into them. And I thought, man, somebody put a lot of time into making that for somebody. And it ended up in a thrift store. And how sad that is. Isn't it sweet? Yeah, probably around 13 years old. So I just thought it was so sweet. Not only was it sweet that this young lady decided to write about her Poobie. And at first, when I first started reading, it's like, Poobie, what in the world? I'd actually forgotten that the blanket I made for her had Winnie the Pooh on it. But it touched me just as equally that her mother wrote me. I mean, she and I are friends, and we talk maybe 2 or 3 times a year because life just gets in the way. You know, we used to talk every day because we worked side by side. And then we would talk often after we didn't work side by side. And now, you know, a car seat poncho. I made a friend a car seat poncho for her daughter. She said it was the most useful thing she got and made me feel so good. I just made, I actually had somebody ask me to make a crocheted car seat cover. And it's like the ponchos. And then she never bought it. And so it's like sitting here. I need to sew the ends in and see if somebody else wants to get it. But I just thought I was so touched that her mother wrote me, my friend wrote me and told me this, and it just really touched me. So that made me happy. So I hope all the little security blankets and the things that I make and send out or sell, I hope they do stick around for a while and that people appreciate them. I'm going to start doing some crochet tutorials and some patterns. And I wanted to have it up here in time to show you guys, and I didn't. Let me grab something real quick because I want to show you this. Because I know I've had some people say, do you share your patterns? It's like some things I kind of do on the fly, some things I have patterns for, some things I'm writing patterns for, and I'll have some of them on Etsy or some of them I'll do tutorials for. But Lisa says, I made a crocheted fleece car seat cover. They're so nice. Yeah, you got to love autocorrect. Autocorrect is my worst enema. Just a second, guys. Let me grab this. Woo, big butt. Hopefully you don't see a big butt bending over. Oh my God. So these are my pattern books. And I have them in my little sewing kit next to my chair where I sit and do things. But I found something that I wanted to share with you because it's so neat that I still have it. Because I keep any and all patterns that I either utilize or come across, but some of them I write myself. But I wanted to share this with you. And I apologize for not being, I think I see it right there. There's one page of it. There's the second page of it. This little blanket. And it's in black and white. And it's just a photocopy. I don't even know where I got it. It's so worn. In some places you can't even read it. Like right there, you can't even read it. It's so worn. And it's the cutest little blanket. It's got little hexagons. And so like, here's the stitch pattern where you put it all together. You can see how you sew them together. And they're little bears in the center. And here's kind of a black and white picture of how all the little bears look. I made one of these when I was pregnant with my third baby. And I had all of his little pictures taken on it and everything after he was born. And I even made a diaper bag to match it. You know, the plastic canvas, how you do the needle craft on the plastic canvas. You don't understand how to read, knit, or crochet patterns. Makes no sense to me. You know what, Brampton Garter? When I do some tutorials, we'll work on how to read those patterns. I will be doing those. But I'm going to real quick, I'm going to just hop on over. And can I find a picture of the blanket? Let me see. Because what I did, which was so, I don't know, it's one of those things you dream about doing. And before you know it, time has passed. And you find yourself at the spot where it's like, oh, I'm here now. I can actually see this come to fruition. And what it is I had made this baby blanket for my son. And I thought, you know, someday, I'm going to be able to pass this down to my grandchild. And so after he used the blanket, and after my next baby even used the blanket for a good long time, the day came where my son was expecting his first child. And when I went to the baby shower, it was so wonderful to have this package all wrapped up and have my daughter-in-law sit in front of both families and open this package. And inside her gift was the baby blanket that I had crocheted for my son. And now that blanket was going to be passed down to my grandbaby. And I'm looking to see if I can find any of the pictures. And she doesn't have them in the albums that I want them in, where I want to see it. Because I would so love to show you the picture of it. But the reason I wanted to bring the patterns up is because I know once I start putting some tutorials up and some patterns that I've put together, somebody's going to say, oh, you know what? That's so-and-so's pattern. So-and-so does that pattern. So-and-so may do that pattern. It doesn't mean that they own that stitch. Not everybody who uses a single crochet in combination with a double crochet or something, they don't own that stitch. They don't own that pattern. It's how I interpret putting it together. So let me see. Oh, I found an album that says my baby shower. Oh, there's the blanket. Let me see. Let me find a good picture to show you. All right, let's see if I pull it up. Can I, and the quality of it is really not that good. Can I now share it? Let's see. I'm going to share a screen. I'm not used to this. Share a screen. I want a Slim Jet tab. And I want Facebook. So look. Can you see? Let me see if I can make it bigger. Nope. 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 How am I going to share this? I want you guys to see it. But see, I don't want you to see everything off on the side. But anyways, here's the blanket. And here she is. She's about 9 months pregnant here, and she's holding up the baby blanket. And that is the baby blanket that I crocheted for my son. And I don't like that all of the, there she is taking it out of the bag that I put it in for her. I had, look, I'm going to scroll back. There's my other daughter-in-law. I had 2 grandbabies due at the same time. But we had a great time. I was trying to see if there were any other pictures of the blanket. Now that you all see, oh, look, there's a close-up of the blanket. Let's go with that one. So you can see all of the little teddy bears. They all had different little bows, colors, because I didn't know at the time whether I was having a boy or a girl. So there's green and blue and pink and purple and yellow. Every little bear, there's 3 different color bears and like 5 different color ribbons. And I think there were, I forget how many little bears there are. There's 63 bears to make that blanket. Oh, but it was so neat to pass it on. And she's saving it, and hopefully then that will go to my great-granddaughter when she's old enough to have a baby. Then that will be really neat to have that pass on. Thank you, guys. Lynette says, I made a dress for my niece and a matching one for her doll in a daisy stitch. They have made out through to her 2 sisters and now her 2 daughters. Isn't that wonderful? Lynette, that's so great. What else did I miss? Yeah, a lot of the times I don't use patterns either, Rochelle, like Lisa was saying, but there are times when I do use patterns and I do write patterns, and I'll put things up on Etsy every once in a while. I've got one pattern up on Etsy now. I just sent it to Lisa as a gift. But I'm going to be doing my 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 crocheted canning mats. See my canning mat, how nice and big they are? And they're 100% cotton. And then that way, when you take your jars out of the canner, you've got something really nice to put on your countertop so you don't get the thermal shock from your jars. So I just finished this one in these beautiful citrus colors. So pretty. So I have 2 going out in an order tomorrow when I go to the post office. But the reason I wanted to bring up the patterns and show you the patterns is because, like I said, I know somebody's going to say, no, somebody else does that and you're stealing their idea. No, it is true that I've seen many patterns for my dishcloths and I will incorporate those. But this one here, this one's me. And I'm writing the pattern and I'm putting it up. That one I did. So be watching for those. Thanks, guys. But it's nice to hear back from people and you see the longevity of some of the things that you've created. My very best friend in Tennessee, I got this book here. I've had this book for 21 years, minimum, because I made her this blanket for her wedding. This was her gift at her bridal shower. And I use the exact same colors and everything. It is 63 different squares. It's a sampler. And I've had this book that long. That's how long I keep my patterns. I've had them forever. I've got little notebooks in here where I've written my own patterns and everything. I mean, do you guys remember, do you remember when your grandma used to keep the bottle of dish soap up on the edge of the sink and she would have a little crochet dress over the dish bottle? Do you guys remember that? I remember those. And a few years ago, my nieces, Jim's nieces, their paternal grandmother died. And they said, Grandma always had one of those little dresses on her dish soap on the sink. And could you please make us some? And so I just sat down and I scribbled. I scribbled out how I needed to crochet it, what I needed to do. And so I've got my pattern for a dish soap dress, but I just don't know that, I don't know that anybody would even use them these days. But since I'm doing a lot of nostalgic things like the nostalgic dish towels and dish soap and all that, I've got one in here for a little baby dress. I mean, this one's like 3 pages handwritten long. 4. It's so funny that, I mean, at the time that I wrote some of these, I had the computer available, but I wrote them out longhand. And I keep them in here with my patterns. But so I like to keep all of that. But I'll be having some stuff coming out soon. So, but I just wanted to share. I had some of my great grandmother's pattern books dating back to the 1936. That is awesome. My grandmother crocheted as well. And I have some of her crocheted items. I just don't have them out on display. I probably will in this cabinet here behind me. Once I get that cabinet all set up, I'll be putting some of my grandmother's crochet. Somebody, I think Lisa wanted me to decorate the little cabinet behind me. There's a candy cane hanging on there. That's actually, let me show you that. That's kind of fun. And I sold a bunch of these last year. I just haven't even made any this year. But look, it's crocheted. It's a little candy cane wrapper. And I got a little bell on the end of it. This is a glass one. But I don't know. I'm not going to have time to make these and sell them for Christmas. I did a whole bunch of these for a craft show. And then all of our craft shows got canceled. I think this is the one I had left. So I kept it for myself. It's got a little glass candy cane in there. Rochelle, are you leaving? Lunchtime. Had to go prep for your random live this afternoon. Thank you for stopping by, Rochelle. I appreciate you stopping in. I really do. It was good to see you. And we will see you, Rochelle, for our quickie Monday night. We're going to keep it Monday night for you at 9:30. So we'll talk, okay? Aren't these fun, Lynette? I love those. But so I just wanted to share the story about the blanket because I thought it was really, really sweet. So some of you popped in last night. I came on live last night, late at night, because I did my manicure. I did my nails. I haven't done my nails in a while. They're super short. This hand is a little bit longer. I mean, you can see I've got a little bit of a pinky nail there. This hand is longer than this hand. This hand I cut really short. And you know why I cut it really short? If you were in my live last night randomly, you know. But I didn't expect anybody to really pop in, but I just did it for fun. And I'm not happy with how it recorded. I don't know if it was all my phone or if some of it was Melon, but I had some issues. But, some have said that they're going to be doing a Christmas carol. They've either been challenged or just going to be doing it. I don't believe I've been challenged, but I thought, I just might do that. So I got my ukulele out. I was telling Lisa over at Yogi Hollow the other day, I said, I'm going to get my ukulele out and I'm going to tune up my ukulele. I've got my tuner here sitting with me. I finally was able to get a battery. My battery died on my tuner, so I haven't been able to use my ukulele for quite some time. Just couldn't tune it. And you have to tune them a lot. The strings don't hold very well. And So I got the battery, and it's one of those ones that they put the bitter taste on it so little kids don't eat it. They're round and really flat. So I finally got one, and I got my tuner all fixed up. And so I've been playing my little ukulele and messing with it and trying to learn my chords again and everything. And so I did my nails, but I cut this hand really, really short because I know when I was playing my ukulele, I noticed my nails were splitting because they were too long. Yours are short right now because you're waiting for baby goats to deliver. I hope you don't have to assist. I really hope you don't have to assist. Hello, Lisa. I was just talking about my ukulele and our discussions about songs. We've had several goats born here on the farm, and I'm really fortunate that I didn't have to assist in any of those deliveries. And they were partly Nigerian dwarfs. And hello, Marlene. How are you? Are you back to work? That's why you have to keep your nails short. I like the way the last I saw your nails were a lovely blue. I'm glad you're here too. Welcome. You know, I have, and I kind of let Marlene over at Snow Gardener 307 know that I had something coming up. She has inspired me. And so I will be doing something at the beginning of the year. And since she has inspired me, I'm sure she kind of has a little bit of an inkling what I'm going to do. Maybe, but I'm putting a twist on it. I'm going to do something entirely different than what everybody else is doing, because I got to try to think with my noggin and come up with something original. But she has inspired me to do something. And so if you go to my community page, if you've not already done so, if you go to my community page, I have a poll on there, and I would love for everybody to vote. And the 3 choices are, and I'm not saying what I'm doing. It's very, very vague, and I apologize that it's vague. But there are 3 choices, and the 3 choices are piñata, pickle jar, paper. That's all you need to know. And so I don't know when I'm going to consider there being a deadline for the votes to go in, but I'm gonna reveal it soon, and I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. I've told Papa Jim about it. He's like, "Oh, okay, this is gonna be fun." So we're gonna see what we're gonna do. But those are the 3 choices: piñata, pickle jar, paper. I should have done them in alphabetical order when I typed them in, but that's what they are. So if you get a chance, go over and vote on those. So I'm working on a little dishcloth right now. Yes, Lisa voted. I know Lisa voted, and Marlene is excited to see what I'm going to be doing. I'm hoping it will work out well because, like I said, there's a little bit of an element of a twist to it, and it'll be neat to see it all come together. I'm so excited. So I'll be doing that. Now, I was in a chat, and I think Lisa was in this chat the other day, and I don't know how we got on the subject. I think we got on the subject because Monica over at Bland's Promised Land Ranch, she has a little injured piggy, and she's taking care of him, like every couple hours at night, feeding him, and he's been injured, and she's helping. Oh, good. I'm glad you voted, Marlene. And we were talking about pigs, and Lisa said something about a pig's ear or something. I said, oh, that makes me think of a story. And she was like, oh, no. And we were talking about jobs and pig's ears. And I said, oh, that reminds me a story about a pig's ear job. And she's like, what? And I was like, yeah, it's okay. Calm down. It made me think of that. So I wanted to share that with you guys today. And I don't know. I might have already said it at one point in another live before because I find it so humorous. But, here in Iowa, despite my not liking them, we have a lot of hog confinements where we live. As a matter of fact, I'm within, a mile of 4 of them. I've got them on all sides, and I just highly detest it. And when I drive by, I have to close my eyes because I see things that I don't want to see. And my son even works taking care of 3 sites. And so when he starts telling stories, it's like, I don't want to know the stories. I don't want to know the reality of what happens. And it's sad because sometimes things get to him, he's like, oh, I don't know how much more I can take. And then there's other times where he does his job just fine and it doesn't affect him. But I have a friend, and I haven't spoken to her in a long time because she retired and I don't get to see her as much as I used to. But her husband used to work in the industry, and he worked over in, and my son would know the different names of the facilities and stuff, but like they have a farrowing facility and the wean facility, and they have the place where they have their boars and they do the artificial insemination for the sows over at the sow barns. But they don't introduce the sows to the boars. There's no, love connection made to get all of these little piggies born. So what they do is they collect what they need to collect from the boars, and then they take it over. They have people that go around with their frozen, cartons of stuff, baby batter. And they go to the sow barns and they inseminate the sows. And what was funny to learn is every boar in these facilities, they have like a personality card. They have their own profile. And whether it's on like a hard card or if it's on a laptop or a tablet or something, I don't know. I think at the time that she was talking, it was almost like it was like an index card. And so they would go around from boar to boar, and I don't know how they obtain the baby batter. I don't know how they physically obtain the baby batter. I don't think I asked. I don't think I want to know, but we can all use our imaginations. But every boar has a little card, and then when they get to this boar, they're like, well, here's Wilbur. Wilbur is a 4-year-old boar, throws good babies, and while collecting specimen, Wilbur likes to have his left ear stroked. And I was like, what? And she's like, yeah. This one particular pig that she remembers her husband telling all these stories about, he had to have one of the employees physically like rub his left ear before he would perform for them and give them what they wanted. And I thought that was so silly because nobody wanted that job of fluffing that pig. Chili must be the thing to make a video on. I just watched Alicia's and I see you have a chili too. I'm so excited to join YouTube journey. Yes, Yogi has a wonderful channel. She is awesome. Okay, Joe, it's nice to see you. Thank you so much for dropping in. I appreciate it. Yours is obtained by electrical shock wand. Oh, that makes me sad. Good morning, Chrissy. Good morning, our new land. How are you? We were just talking about obtaining baby batter from a pig. It's been quite an exciting deal. Good morning, Lena. You're peeking, huh? And yes, I've kind of been talking about Snow Gardener 307 for a while now because I am just enthralled with her channels, both of them. I love her fascination with office supplies because it is one of my big things, are like Post-it notes, highlighters, colored highlighters. I remember many of you, well, some of you might know. Yeah, baby batter. Some of you know I became a mommy very young. I was just a few months. Well, I was 16 years and not quite 4 or 5 months when I delivered my first baby. So I naturally didn't finish school, but I did go back when baby was born. I went to an independent study program and I did quite a bit of work there. And then a medical issue came up and I couldn't continue my studies there. But then I did things completely so bass-ackwards. It isn't even funny because in my adult life, I went to college. Then I got my GED, and then I went back and finished high school and got my credits for an actual high school diploma, even though I didn't need it. So I had already started college and I had quite a few credits under my belt. And like I said, I had already taken my GED and passed with flying colors. It was just a technical thing that I just needed to get these things done, right? And I thought, I got my GED. I don't need my high school diploma, but I want my high school diploma. I want to show my kids you can do this. I want to be that example to my kids that just because there are little snow bumps, I read snow gardener. Just because there are little road bumps in life doesn't mean you can't finish your goals. So I had gone back to night classes to actually get my high school diploma. And I thought it would be really fun to graduate with the class of 2000. So I really buckled down so I could graduate with the class 2000. And, here I am. I'm a mother of 4, and I'm in this night class, and I've got kids that needed to make up classes in order to graduate. I've got teens and young 20s all sitting around me and stuff. I'm the oldest person in the class. And I felt a little bit out of my element, but it's okay. I plugged along and I did the few classes that needed to be completed. And I really only had to make like 15 credits is all I needed. And I would show up with my little book bag and my office supplies. I had different color highlighters. And I would write my name, my assignment, everything, the page numbers. I'd write it all on top, and then I would highlight everything a certain color. And when I watched Snow Gardener do her budgeting, it's like, that's me to a T. It's like my name had to be in a certain highlighted color. My chapter and textbook had to be in another color. The assignment title had to be in another color. And all of my asterisks had to be highlighted in yellow. The whole thing was highlighted from top to bottom. And I would turn this paper into the teacher who was, like in his 70s. And I would just look at it and shake his head. And I'm like, what's wrong? He goes, you don't have to do this. He goes, you're going to pass. You're going to get your high school diploma. Why do you do this? It's like, I can't help it. I have to. I have to have my precious, and I have to highlight everything. I can't help it. Oh, you need Snow Gardener in your office right now. It is a mess. She is so organized, and I just love watching her do her budgeting. I really do. And I should put that. I mean, this is like, what do you call it? Like a selfish promotion, or it's not a plea. It's, let's just say it's probably on the verge of being wrong, but I'm going to say it. I should probably update my about page with like my Amazon wish list. Because she's got something I want so bad. It might already be showing up because I showed Jim the other day. I said, you've got to see what Marlene has over at Snow Gardener 307. And so what she has, and I just love, is Gail in. Hi, Gail. Good morning. Good morning. She has this little advent calendar, which I personally, because you guys know I didn't have Christmas growing up and stuff. And it's the tea steeper too. I have never had an advent calendar ever in my life. We barely even had Christmas growing up. I think I've shared that with you before. The last Christmas I remember was when I was 7, and it was the yellow bike that was, I thought was a tow bar for my dad. And so I never had an advent calendar, and I've seen them before. I was like, Marlene has an advent calendar. And it is so cute. And you open up these 2 little doors, and there's 24 little drawers, and they're all numbered, and you pull them out. And when you pull out the drawer for the day, it's got this little tin of loose leaf tea. And there's enough in there to make 2 cups of tea. And I fell in love with it the instant I saw it. Oh my gosh, it is so cute. And some of the flavors that she pulls out, she shows them to you, and they're like, oh my gosh, you can see, bits of apple. And can I have some of them with this new diabetic thing? I don't know, but I like it. And then she's got this really cool tea steeper, and you put the tea in it. It's like almost like a little acrylic teapot. I need to be careful with my hand motions. It's like a little teapot, and you put the water in it and the tea. You put the tea in it, and then you pour hot water in it, and you just set it aside, let it steep for like 3 to 5 minutes. Then you take it and you just set it on top of your coffee cup or your teacup, and it activates the little plunger system, and then it just drains out the bottom, and it leaves all of your tea in there, and your tea leavings, all your tea leavings are up here, and the tea goes in your cup, and you're good to go. Oh, good morning, Food by Faith, and good morning. Do we have our soil sister in here? Is Sherry in here? Did I miss it? Or are you just saying, hey, soil family, to everybody, Food and Faith? I'm hoping I didn't miss Sherry. Is she in here? And Fine Dining is here. Can't stay long. Wanted to say hi. they're enjoying going backwards and watching the videos. I appreciate that. I hope you're having a good time seeing them. So I showed Papa Jim the other night, and I just wanted to show him. I showed him a video, and I had to find the right one because I had to find, I think it was the mistletoe, either the mistletoe tea or the one, either day 2 or day 4. I don't remember which. Day 3 was Earl Grey, I think, and I wanted something really fun to show him. So I found one of your videos that you do, your advent calendar. It's your Vlogmas ones, Marlene. And I said, look at this little advent calendar. He's like, we've never had an advent calendar. I'm like, I know. And he knows that I've been kind of touchy about my coffee lately because I can't have the creamers because I have to have sugar-free. So we have flavors now that are sugar-free and free, and my whole cream and everything that I put in there. I said, look at these teas. And he watches it and he goes, well, that's pretty neat. He goes, oh, look at that steeper. And I was like, I know, right? He goes, where did she get that? I was like, I don't know. And he says, does that say David's tea on it? So he knows where he can get that now too. And so he's really, really good. And I try not to take advantage of it. But he's really, really good about, like, if I say, oh, look at that. Then like a couple days later, Amazon shows up and delivers it to my door. Well, oh yeah, don't be distracted while you're driving. Food by Faith. You know what? I need to do a mail call because Food by Faith sent me a beautiful card the other day, and it's downstairs. And Lisa over at Yogi Hollow Farm sent me something so adorable, and it's downstairs. I need to have a mail call. Thank you, Marlene. I'd like to know what sugars are in it. But I imagine for tea, I mean, even if it's got a little bit of sugar, I think you showed one, I think it said stevia. I don't know if I'm mixing that up with the water thing that I'm looking at too. But they're so fun. And I like the fact that, we can make 2 cups of tea out of it because he's not a big tea drinker. So either I will get all of them or I will share them happily with him. But I might put it in my about section. I might put it on my wish list. I don't know. We'll see. Crazier things have happened, right? I mean, I've seen people's wish lists that have like really expensive things on there. Somebody had something on a wish list the other day that I was listening to, and not that I would ever expect this. And I can't remember what it was. But it was like $900, and a viewer bought it for this guy. And I'm like, my gosh. Somebody bought him something for $900. I thought that was pretty, I don't know, ballsy, bold, gutsy to put a $900 thing on your wish list, but somebody got it for him, one of his supporters. And I mean, he's got such a big following. I don't even think you can call it a YouTube family, although I'm sure he would. But I can't even keep you all straight. I don't know how he keeps the thousands and thousands and thousands of people straight, but somebody sent him a gift. And that's not why I'm here, but hey, I'll put it up there. Somewhere I've got a rich uncle out there that might see it. I think it was stevia, and I made one big cut. Oh, you make it in one big cup now. I do not like the one tea, but I liked all of the others so far. Which one didn't you like? You did an Amazon gift list too, Gail. That's good. I'm thinking about doing it. Does anyone drink chamomile tea? I have it growing, but I've never tried it. Is it good? Chamomile tea is good when it's got a little bit of sweetener in it. It's really funny because that you bring up chamomile tea. I grew chamomile this year because I wanted to make my own chamomile tea. And the chickens got into the garden and they ate all of my chamomile. They completely destroyed it. Not only did they eat it, but then they scratched it all up. It was just a complete loss. But when my first son was little, and I think this is something that we've lost. I should probably even do a video on it. When my son was little, my husband's stepmother had the craziest, like old home remedies. And I'd look at her like, you're freaking nuts. But now I believe in them. I used them with all of my babies growing up. And when I have friends that have babies, or I have, daughter-in-laws that when they're going to have my grandbabies and stuff, and I tell them these things, they just look at me and go, no, I'm not doing that. But one of the things was when my first baby was brought home from the hospital, he had colic really bad. Understandably, I brought him home into a really toxic situation because we lived with my in-laws and that was not good. But she would have me make him chamomile tea. And we would go to the store and we would go to the ethnic food section, and they would have all of the Mexican spices in those little cellophane bags on the wall. And you could get all kinds of stuff, your chiles and all of your Mexican spices. And they would have chamomile. They would have the dried chamomile flowers. And she would put some on the stove with water, and she would just add them to the hot water, let them steep a little bit. Then she would strain them, and then she would put a little sugar in it and put it in a baby bottle, and I would give it to him. Calmed his tummy right down. It worked really, really well. But the other thing, and I'm going to share this just because, you add honey and lavender. I have lavender infused honey. I have lilac infused honey. I'm sorry. You haven't had an advent calendar either, Gail. You should look into that. You know what I'm going to do? And this will be for Gail. Lisa might want to consider it. Marlene might want to consider this. I'm considering next year, in time for the holiday season, I almost want to see if I can get that tea company to like send me an advent so I can promote it in my daily, you know how people do like reviews. And that way I can do a little promo thing and maybe they'll send me one. Couldn't hurt to ask, right? I mean, the worst thing they can do is say no. Would be really great is if, they do say no, then at least send me a coupon code so I can get a little bit of a deal on it, right? Coupon Gail, right? Gail Southern Living. That's what we want to go for too. But the other thing that my mother-in-law told me to do for my baby, which I just, again, thought she was absolutely out of her mind, was if you have a baby, this is good for your grandbabies and your little ones. And I mean little, like little babies. Don't try to do this to your 5-year-old. But your little babies, they have issues sometimes with regulating their digestive system. And sometimes you will have an exploded diaper, and sometimes you will have nothing for a few days, and they kind of get a little stopped up. And I remember my little baby, he was only a couple weeks old. He was stopped up for some reason. And she said, oh, let me get the butter and put it in the freezer. And I'm like, what? And she goes, just go with me on this. I was like, whatever. She took a stick of butter and she put it in the freezer and she froze the stick of butter. Then after it was frozen, she cut off a sliver of butter and popped it up that boy's backside and then pinched him shut. And I'm thinking, the authorities are going to come. They're going to show up and I'm going to go to jail. They're going to take my baby because what are you doing? And she said, trust me. And I said, well, can I just go to the pharmacy and get some suppositories? She goes, why do you want to introduce glycerin suppositories that might have something in it that you don't want to really introduce to your baby? She goes, this is butter. It's just butter. It was unsalted butter. She goes, would you rather have something that's a chemical or would you rather have butter? I said, that stuff works. That's like slicker than goose poop. That kid was unstopped within 10 minutes, and I used it on all my kids ever since. Anytime a baby got stopped up, I had a stick of butter in the freezer at the ready, cut off a little sliver, and it did the job. And like I said, like Gail Southern Living, she's got the emoticon. She's like, wow, I'm telling you. I don't know if I can I would imagine I can have Swerve. I haven't looked into Swerve right now. I've been using monk fruit. But I think anything other than like a refined sugar, a real sugar, it should work. Hello, Melody. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. Oh, Gail, you asked if I could have Swerve. I'm sorry. I'm just now catching up. Right? We're going to ask. We're going to see. I saw this calendar on Jay Wacker's channel last year for Vlogmas, and I knew you had to order it. Right, Marlene? I've heard you mention Jay Wacker's a couple times. I need to go over there. But that little advent calendar, I just love it. And I got so mad last night, Marlene, let me tell you. So we're watching the videos on, I don't remember if it was last night or the night before. We're watching the videos on the tea. And we're scrolling through different videos. And somebody says, this is the worst thing ever. I said, watch, this is clickbait. She's going to say, this is the worst thing ever because thanks, now I'm addicted to this tea. She's going to it's like a spin. It's clickbait, right? This woman, I don't know who she is. I'm not going to say who she is because I honestly can't remember who she is. But she was the most negative Nancy I've ever seen in my life. She goes, my mother sent this to me. If I was her mother, I would have kicked her right in the taco. My mother, and first of all, this big box, she was complaining about the box it was sent in. She was complaining about the plastic it was wrapped in. She was complaining about anything and everything. And then when she opened it up, she's like, oh, let's look at this tea. It's got this, and this. It's crap. And she's like throwing the tea. And she goes, this isn't even tea. It's just a bunch of fruit and it's this. And she goes, not even tea. And then she found the Earl Grey one. She goes, well, at least this is tea. And then she made it. She goes, oh, this is crap. She was negative through the whole thing. I thought, oh, how miserable to be so negative and hateful and spiteful. If I was her mother, I'd never send her another gift. I wanted to. I really wanted to just kick her in the taco. Advent calendar to being stopped up to frozen butter. Back to the Advent calendar. I know, but you guys know you don't. It's what you've come to expect from me, right? I can't help it. I just talk. It's like the ADD squirrel cage is just going. It's like butter, constipation, Advent tea calendar, crochet, back to squirrels. I don't know. Some people are so miserable. I avoid those people like they're the plague, right? I will never watch another one of her videos. It's very rare that I give somebody a thumbs down, but I'm not going to lie. And of course, I was on Jim's account, but I popped up and I went over. I gave her a thumbs down. She was so mean. And I thought, her mother's going to see that video. And then what is her mother going to think? Maybe her mother doesn't care. Maybe her mother's the same way. I don't know. I thought I would never say anything like that about something that my mother would gift me. Ever would I do that? And my mother's given me some crazy stuff. I remember one time, of course, now I know the reason for it, but I remember one time I had come home from picking up the kids from school and there was a box at the door and I'd been gone all day. There was a box at the door. And my mother had sent me this care package. I was so excited. And I opened it up. It sat there long enough that my mother had sent monster cookies from the farmer's market. And they were just full of ants. Ants had gotten all in the box. It's like, darn it, all the monster cookies, I couldn't give them to the kids. But she sent all kinds of school supplies for the kids. And it's like, I opened up a tube of a glue stick. And it's like, all the glue stick was gone. She sent me empty used glue sticks. They were like, there was nothing left of them. And she just sent random weird stuff. But I never said anything negative to my mom. I did let her know that, gosh darn it, the ants got to the cookies before we got it in the house. So please don't send any more cookies because it's, I don't want you spending your money on it and the shipping and then have it get here and the ants get it and the kids don't get it. So don't send cookies anymore. But I never said anything to her about the really odd, strange, empty things she sent. Well, what I didn't realize at the time, and none of us realized, was she had an aneurysm in her brain. And the aneurysm was affecting her thought processes and lots of other things that she was dealing with. But once we understood that she had something going on in her brain, it was like, oh, now that kind of makes sense. Some of the silly things my mom did kind of make sense now because she had an issue. Okay, so, well, thank you, Melody. I appreciate that. I appreciate those thumbs up. My mother-in-law has given me the same flannel shirt 3 times for Christmas. Haha. All 3 too small and 2 complete ninja blenders with all of the attachments. That's sweet. Isn't that sweet? Even though it makes you kind of go, gee, I already have this, but it's still sweet. Lena found the coupon channel. Love the coupon channel with Gail. She has taught me so much. Now I have to rethink things. I love tortillas, and tortillas have 50 carbs. I can't have them anymore. But Mission tortillas, they have a low carb tortilla. And unfortunately, the price of those have just gone through the roof. And so I thought, I'm going to call them, or I'm going to write them. I'm going to email them and let them know how much I enjoy them. And maybe they'll send me a coupon. So they have a place where you can comment on stuff, but then it's got like this banner at the bottom and you can't scroll down anymore. And where you put in your comment and push send is covered by the banner. So you can't do anything. Yeah, the negative people, all you can do is just, you got to pray for them and kick them in the taco. Oh, you hit 500 yesterday, Gail. That's so wonderful. Oh, yeah, borrow that LP. You can borrow that all you want. Negative Nancy. Yeah, I would never send her anything again ever if I was her mother. I would not. My mother was a very giving person. And I remember, I crochet, and I mean, just sitting here talking to you, I've got a few rows done already, and I can whip things out relatively fast if I give it my full attention. But knitting takes so long. Knitting is a true labor of love. And because if you drop a stitch, I don't even know how you recover from that. If I mess up something here, I can just frog it and start all over from a certain point, and it's no problem. And but my mother was knitting a sweater for her very first daughter-in-law. My mom had put so much time into it. I mean, she had the bodice done. She was working on the sleeves. And my brother and his wife had come over for a visit. And she wanted to kind of make sure that she had the sizes right, and she was holding it up to her. And my sister-in-law said, "Can you make this a V-neck instead?" She goes, I just don't like it. I'd rather have a V-neck. And my mom said the love of making it just flew right out the window, because you can't just take a sweater that you knit and turn it into a V-neck. Doesn't work that way. And she would have had to undo the whole thing. And my mother never finished that sweater and never gave it to her. And she was heartbroken that a gift of love like that she was so persnickety about. I mean, there were other things down the road, but, I always remembered that. And then I remember years later, I was working on an Afghan for a friend. And she was going through some things in her life. And I was making her this Afghan. And much like the little teddy bears and stuff, it had squares, not hexagons, but it had squares, and then a raised flower in the center of each one. And I remember she had just purchased a couch with a sleeper sofa in it because she was out on her own now and she needed something that served dual purpose. And so I chose the colors that were in that couch. And there was this faint, like buttercream yellow. And so I had gotten maybe 20 squares into this Afghan, which was probably, again, like 63 squares if it was 7x9 squares. And I think there were probably 3 yellow squares already sewn in there. And I gave her a sneak peek of it one day, and she goes, "Oh, can you take out the yellow? I really don't like yellow. Can you just take those out?" No, I can't. I can't just undo the whole Afghan. And they were in the center. It's not like I could just remove a flower that had been sewn on. I mean, they were crocheted in the Afghan. My dog is downstairs making that noise, that retching noise. It's like the 4th or 5th time. If you're wondering if you can pick up on that noise, I don't know. But, I never finished that blanket because the joy of making it for her, she just sucked it out. Because it was a gift from the heart. And I don't care if there's pink, purple, or green flowers. If it's a gift from the heart, you should accept it as a gift from the heart and not pick it apart and say, "Yeah, don't like yellow." Well, I'm sorry. I never finished it. I kept it in the closet for years, and she never asked where it was. Never asked where it was. And I've had a few instances like that where if I'm making you something, I know I had somebody request something, and I won't say out loud what it was, but I put a lot of work into something that was so adorable. And my sister had seen it in person. And then the person I was making it for who requested, they said, "Can I see some pictures?" And I sent some pictures. Well, when you send a picture over the internet to somebody, sometimes the colors aren't exactly as you see it when it's in person. And I explained that to him. I said the colors might be a little bit off because of just, how the sun is in the room or fluorescent lighting or whatever, but they're just adorable. I mean, they're sitting right over there. They're still sitting there. They're still sitting there. They're finished. All I had to do was put little buttons on them. I should show you what they are. No, I'm going to grab it. Let me show you what I made. Because now that I'm talking about it, I gotta get your opinion on it and not trip up in my yarn. I'm going to trip in my yarn. What's nice is I've almost got my craft room to the point where I can say, let me grab that, and I know where it is. Look at these guys. There's 2 of them. They're both done. All I need, look, they're the dragon scale little baby booties. Do you see the little dragon scales on them? I don't even have my glasses on. I took my glasses off so I don't feel like I'm drunk when I'm walking. But look at these little baby booties. And they're in these cute little rainbow colors on the bottom. And then they've got the purple dragon scales. They're both done. 2 of them. Aren't those cute? These dragon scales take a long time. They really do. And all that needs to be done is I've got little pearl buttons that just need to be sewn right here. And then you clasp them just like that, right? And they're adorable. And she said, oh, I don't like the colors. I don't want them. It's like, they're what you asked for. These are the colors you asked for. So I never finished them. I never finished it. What I need to do now is I need to put the buttons on them and I need to sew them. Because, I mean, oh, look, here are I've got them all in a box. They're all just in a box, sitting here ready to go. Look, these are the little pearl buttons. Look at those. You see, aren't those cute, those little pearl buttons? But look, I've got these teeny, teeny, tiny, tiny little ones. Look how adorable those are with the little dragon scales. Aren't those cute? You see where I'm going to sew the buttons on and close them. And I think what I'll do is I think I need to finish them. What do you guys think? You think I need to finish them? I need to finish them. I'll stuff a little bit of tissue paper in there so they show their true shape. And I think I'm going to sell them. So I've got this set here. Totes adorb. I remember saying that all the time a couple of years ago. Oh, they're so totes adorb. So there's those little booties. And then these are for a little bit bigger. So these are like little baby. These are like 0 to 3 months. These are like 3 to 6 months. And then these are 3 to 6 months. I need to finish them. I've got 3 sets. Finish them, Rebel Canner says. And then I got these. They're pink and just little rainbow. But look, and they'd be so nice and warm. And I gave them plenty of room. I mean, look at the opening to put little baby's feet in there. They're not confining at all. They're so stinking cute. I'm going to finish them. I'm going to finish them. I might even do a live later and just sew them and finish them and say, I've got 3. These are a more sturdy, thicker material. But look, these are almost like mohair. Look at that material. Look at that yarn. Look how adorable. It's so soft. It's almost like a mohair yarn. I love it. But they've been sitting in this box. They've been sitting in this box since 2014. They've been sitting here for 7 years. Totes adorb. Oh, Rochelle, you and I. We're just like peas and carrots sometimes. But it was kind of like, I don't know. I'm fragile that way sometimes. If I put my heart and soul into something and then somebody says, I don't like that color, or no, then I just shut down. Because like I said, these dragon scales, if any of you crochet and you know about these dragon scales, they are a lot of work. These are a lot of work to make these dragon scales. Look up close. Look how, pink's not a good representation. Because I have to behave myself. That didn't look good on the camera. Look at the dragon scales. Like, you can lift them up. Each dragon scale is independent. I will finish them. I see you guys say finish them. Finish them. Finish them and sell them so you can move on. One less project half done. One less PhD. You are right. And now that I'm organizing my craft room and I've got the little box out with these little adorables, I'll finish them. I like to call them, you know, if you crochet, one of the stitches that you do, the main stitch that you do to get any project started is a chain. And then when you're working on something and it's not finished yet, it's called a work in progress, which is a whip. So I like to say that up here in my craft room, I've got lots of chains and whips. Woohoo! You're fragile that way too. People hurt my feelings all the time. I don't even think they know they did it. And we internalize a lot of things, don't we? I am a 7 at LP, would so definitely wear them. Those do take time. They really do, Lynette. They take a lot of time. Thank you, Lena. LP, you're 7.5. I made a pair for a young lady, and she was like a size 8. I made a full size set. She loved them. I did them in purple, and I sent them to her. She put them on her Facebook page and was all excited and everything. You can make them in adult sizes, yes. Yeah, can't believe that somebody would tell you don't like them when they take your time to make it. I know. They do make adults. If you crochet, they do have patterns for the adult sizes. And I actually have a pattern. It's not my pattern, but I did buy it. I have a pattern for like, oh, I need to get working on it. There's a specific type of red heart yarn called Love. It's Red Heart Love, and it's got just a nicer texture than just the regular acrylic yarn. It's very spongy and soft, and I like using that for if I make throws or ponchos or anything like that, wraps. And there's one that I have the pattern for, and I have to find it, and it is like all of those dragon stitches with a hood, and it's like a Red Riding Hood cape. I need to make that, you know, in my spare time. I will say sometimes I give people things and I tell them straight up, if you don't like this or don't want it, please give it back and I will use it or give it to somebody else, right? I mean, I told you guys the story about my canning, right? I had a friend give back a jar of salsa because she didn't like cilantro. I was actually really happy she did because I loved it and better than going into the trash when it was all homegrown. So you did hear my story about my bread and butter pickles. You're loving the content today. Thank you, Marlene's. Oh, you're going to go so you can finish editing. I know you got to get that out. Edit your video. Stick around and listen if you can, but I understand if you can't. Rochelle, her husband was mortified. He was like, no, don't tell her. She was like, she worked so hard on this, grew everything herself. I don't want to waste it, but we're good friends, so that worked out. You know, I shared in an earlier live, as I scroll back up, make sure I didn't miss anything, which I'm sure I did. I had family over, and I said to the one family member, I said, do you like bread and butter pickles? He said, I love bread and butter pickles. I said, I just made bread and butter pickles. And they took home some bread and butter pickles. And then they came over a while later. And at first I said, did you try those bread and butter pickles? And I was told, no, they want to let them, you know, cure a little bit before they open. I said, okay, that's fine. So then, you know, several weeks go by. How'd you like those pickles? You know, I could tell when the minute I opened them, they were just going to be too sweet. They're just too sweet. I said, bread and butter pickles are sweet. No, these are sweet, like sweet pickle sweet, not bread and butter pickle sweet. I said, bread and butter pickles are sweet. Because, yeah, but I could just tell they were going to be too sweet. I said, okay. Well, you know, did your other family member eat them? No, they don't like sweet pickles. I said, they're bread and butter pickles. Yeah, but they like dill pickles. Well, did you save them in the fridge for the kids? No, they don't like sweet pickles. You could have taken them to work and shared them with your coworkers. No. And what you do with them? I threw them away. The jar and all, my mason jar, all of the pickles, everything in the trash. Never ask. Right? Right, Rochelle? Never ask. I should have known better than to ask. So I know my jars won't be leaving my house. They'll be staying right where I got them in my pantry. You know, and then in contrast, you know, my son will call up and he'll say, yeah, the jar, right? I think I need to learn how to crochet. My great-great-grandma used to knit and crochet dolls. Oh, LP, you should learn. I'm going to, as soon as I can get my whole setup here, because like I said, I did that live last night, but I didn't like the way my camera acted. I need to really work on that, right? Never get another jar. Throw my jar away. That's blasphemy right there. Lie to me, tell me you ate the pickles, but they were too sweet, so you wouldn't care for the bread and butters anymore. But don't throw away the jar. That's like stealing my money right out of my hand, not the jar. So, but like I said, my son will call up and he'll say, "Mom, do you have any pickles?" I'll say, "Yeah, come on over, get some pickles." He'll come over and get pickles. And he wrote me later, he goes, "Mom, those pickles are so good. Thank you so much for pickles. Love the pickles." You're welcome. Later on, I've got lip gloss here somewhere, and I've got such chapped lips. Later on, I opened a jar of pickles, and my pickles were nice and crispy and crunchy, and they were good. But I opened a jar of pickles, and they were soft. And I thought, gosh darn it, why is this one soft? So I called my son. I said, "Those pickles you got the other day," and like by now he's on his second or third jar. Sorry. I said, "Were those pickles soft?" He goes, "Yeah, but they were still good." I said, "Did you eat them?" He goes, "Oh, we loved them." I said, "What about the last jar you got?" He goes, "They're crunchy." He goes, "But either way, they taste good. I love them." Right? I don't know why my lips are so chapped. I always ask family members for my jars back. I'm finally at my destination so I can respond. Oh, hello, Food by Faith. I'm glad you made it safely. It's great for January, February, Alicia. People are rushed before Christmas, but bored in January. February would be the perfect time to pick up a new hobby. I actually did a series on Facebook where I did a tutorial in my I have a little page on Facebook called Thompson Farms, since where I do my crochet stuff and soap and all that stuff. And this was right after cinnamon vanilla hit and everybody was in lockdown. And I think it was in March or April. People were just like bored out of their minds, locked down in their houses. The stores were closed. And so I told people, I said, if you've got yarn, get some yarn out. If you've got a crochet hook, grab your hook. We're going to learn how to crochet. And I said, if you don't have the supplies, see if there's a little old lady in your neighborhood. Go knock on her door. Keep your distance, whatever you need to do. But ask her, does she have a crochet hook and maybe some yarn that you could use so you could learn how to crochet while you're doing all this downtime? Or if you make it to the store and you find that they've got what you need. And so I went on every day, and we started with how to do your slip knot. And I'm talking meticulously spending a lot of time how to do the slip knot. It's all that hot air. There's lots of hot air here. And then we worked on the chain stitch, and then we worked on the single crochet, and then we made a dishcloth. And I thought, you know what? Instead of reinventing the wheel, I'm just going to go find that footage that I did, and then I'm going to edit it, and I'm going to make some really nice tutorials for everybody. Well, it's all filmed in that portrait, so it's only half the screen, right in the middle, the third of the screen. Then on top of that, there's days where it's like I looked like death warmed over. I actually had influenza A. And who knows, at the time, it might have even been cinnamon vanilla, and they didn't know how to test for it yet. But I was sicker than a dog. And my voice was all raspy, and I just looked awful. But I still got on every day and said, okay, this is what we're going to work. I'm locking like this, like I had a 6-pack a day habit. And I thought it worked at the time. And these were, people who've been with me for a long time. They accepted it. I thought, but I can't use that footage and make something new and throw it on YouTube. I can't do that to people. People are going to go into psychosomatic asthma attacks just listening to me. Goodbye, Rebel Candles and Canners. I'm sorry, I cannot remember your name. So, but thank you so much for stopping by. I'm so glad you're here. I appreciate you dropping in. Gail's got some yarn that Nisi gave her. Yeah, your governor's awesome, Lisa. Thank you, Gail. I keep pickles, jams, relish, and brittle on hand. I love sharing with family and friends. Yes, I agree. I agree. It's great to have. You know what? I'm really happy this year that I can just go into my pantry, and I pretty much have what I need in my pantry. It's the first time I've felt that way in a long, long time. I've been working at it, and I said this the other day in a live, and I thought I want to make sure I say it so it doesn't sound smug or uppity or anything. But there's been a couple times now where we walk into the store and I'll say, I don't really need anything. You know, hubby will say, what all do we need to get? Where's your list? It's like, no, I just need maybe a couple of small items out of the dairy and looking for my low carb tortillas and maybe some spring mix, and that's it. I mean, we just hit that outer edge of the store and we don't go in the center for anything. I got all of my pantry is pretty well stocked between the Amish market, my canning, and my, I don't want to use the word stockpiling, but you know, I'm set. So it's really interesting because do you hold your crochet hook like a pencil or whole handed? I hold my crochet hook like this, and I'm a lefty. So I hold my work in my right hand, and this is how I do my tension. And my wrist hurts right now, but I'm still crocheting. But you know what I like is my right wrist hurts, but the only moving action I really have is when I load my yarn up. But I hold my crochet hook like this. I don't do the pencil thing. I can't. I just can't do that. I can try, but I can't do it. I just tried it. Can't do it. Have you tried the Old Extreme Wellness tortillas? I think those are wonderful. They are kind of spendy. I have not seen those. Oh, Olay, not Ole. Olay Extreme Wellness tortillas. I've not seen those where I live. I was sharing earlier about the situation in the little town where I do my shopping. That town's only 5,000 people. So we've got a decent store. I have a brace. I've been wearing it at nighttime, but not in the daytime. And so I know my doctor before said, you know, wear it at nighttime, give it a rest during the daytime. You still have to have mobility. So, and it's, you can't see it. I mean, you can't see it, even if I tried to show you. But I do have swelling right here. I have swelling here on the side of my arm, right here. But you can't see the other arm to compare it to. I have swelling, and I have swelling to the point to where just like touching the skin hurts. But I have de Quervains, which there's a tendon that works your thumb, and it goes under a little sleeve right here at the wrist, and that it's swollen and it's getting caught in that little sleeve. So it's not too bad today. But let's see how the thumb test works today. So you see, this thumb's good. That's about it for that thumb. And it just popped. That's about it for that thumb. And then if I hold my hands like this, I can put this wrist down. That's as far as I can go with that one. That's it. So it's bound up in there. You live in a super small town too. You had to quit crocheting when you got pregnant and your hands ached. Oh, I'll see if I can order those online. Thank you. You know what? This happened a year ago. I hurt my hand. I had some issue with this tendon a year ago, and I don't know what I did. And I wasn't crocheting at the time. I had it was hurting. And then I was teaching my granddaughter how to crochet online. We were having little dates, and I was teaching her to crochet, and it was kind of like, Grandma, I can't do it anymore because I couldn't even move my thumb anymore. I can't do it. And I went to the chiropractor, and I had all kinds of therapy on it. And I finally just went to an ortho, and he gave me a cortisone shot, and I felt so much better. And it's been great since January. I've gone, several months with no issues. And then we had that spider. I had a big spider in my bedroom a few months ago, and I did a live then because Erin over at Bramble Hill said, you got to do a live on this thing. So I did a live with the spider that was up in the corner, and it was like, I woke up and there was this big wolf spider over my head. And so we all got a kick out of having a live about this extra guest in my bedroom and stuff. And when Jim got home, he saved me by getting the spider, and he put it in a mason jar when he carried it outside, and he set it free. And when he was coming back in and I was still recording, he went to hand me the jar. And when he went to hand me the jar, he jolted at me. He's like, oh, it's still in there. And it hit my thumb just right. And I was like, oh, and I left that exclamation in the video because it sounded like I was scared. But really what I cut out was like, oh my God, you hit my thumb and my wrist, And he was like, oh, stop it. It's been hurting ever since. And it's just been increasingly, like I can't lean on a counter. I can't pick up a plate because it just puts pressure on that wrist. So I like that when I'm crocheting, my left hand's my dominant hand, that wrist feels fine. So, you know, it's really not much action because most of it's in my left hand. But, you know, I do rest it. I wear the brace at night. I'm taking some turmeric to maybe help with a little bit of inflammation, which is supposed to be good for diabetes as well. So we'll see. I told hubby, I said, once we get past the first of the year, if I'm not feeling any better, I'll go see the doctor again. He's a very sweet doctor. I cannot say his last name. So he's got like this really long Ukrainian or Russian name or something, and I cannot pronounce it, but it starts with R-A-D. And so they call him Dr. Rad. And I think that's so awesome because he's Dr. Rad. So far, I've had Dr. Goodall, which I think is funny because he's good at everything. Dr. Goodall. I've had Dr. Bay, which, you know, for the longest time was like what everybody was calling their boyfriend, their Bay, which really is some foreign word for poop. So I don't understand that. And he was a poopy doctor, and I'm glad he's gone. He's not my oncologist anymore. I did not like him. And then I've got Dr. Rad. And so Dr. Rad has this accent, and he's just the sweetest doctor. And the whole time he's injecting me in my wrist with this cortisone shot, and I've got fire coming out the end of my thumb, and I'm screaming, oh my God, my thumb's on fire. Like everybody out in the waiting room. And the nurses, they all looked at me when I come walking out. It's like I'm breaking a sweat. But the whole time he's like, oh, Miss Alicia, I'm so sorry, Miss Alicia. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Miss Alicia. Are you okay? The whole time. The whole time that, you know, I'm not watching what he's doing, he's saying, I know, Miss Alicia. I know this hurts, Miss Alicia. It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. Wiggle your thumb. We have a diet doctor here in town called Dr. Poon, and I'm sure enough to go to him. There was somewhere I've got a picture of somebody else's doctor's office where like the doctor's name is Dr. It's not Hedge, but it's a foreign name, and it's like Hedge with an H at the end of it, Heda or something like that. And somebody keeps going by and adding an OG, so it says Hedgehog. And he keeps saying, don't do this to my name anymore. And then I went to one doctor, and his name was Dr. Grapp. And I've got a picture of this somewhere. It's Grapp, G-R-A-P. And somebody wrote in E at the end and then wrote ape. So it said grape ape. And that just made me laugh. Oh, Lisa's got some yarn she's talking about for Gail. Yeah, no, it's not hedgehog. I think it's Hedjah is his name or something like that. And so they would make it into hedgehog. It's hysterical. Lisa has offered to teach me to crochet. I need to get my supplies, but soon. That's wonderful. I have carpal tunnel, so I had to take breaks. I wasn't sure if it was carpal tunnel at first, but I self-diagnosed it as this de Quervain's. And when I went to the ortho, he's like, yeah, that's what it is. It's de Quervain's. It affects that thumb. They call it Blackberry Thumb because a lot of times people get it from scrolling with their thumb on their device or holding a heavy device in their hand while they scroll. That action does it. Waitresses get it a lot from carrying the heavy plates this way. It puts that tension on that wrist. New moms get it when you have babies and you pick the babies up this way. It puts the pressure on that wrist. So who knows what I did? I might have just picked up something wrong and hurt it. Had to do some exercises to help and a simple sleeve to keep the swelling down. When something swells on me, I have to wrap it or it'll never go down. I have edema. Gail has 5,000 people in her town. The other little town that we go to has about 4,000 something. Our entire county, only has 10,000 people. But the closest town that we live to is 268 people. Let's see. At LP, have you heard of the singer LP? She has a super cool sound, but you make me think of her every time. Haha. Is that a tequila? I'm missing the tequila. I'll take some. You know, it's just water in my water bottle. I had that from holding heavy rolls of plastic at work and trowels. Also, I find the mouse on the computer annoys me. Brampton, our town is like 800,000. Oh my gosh. That's too much for me. Too much for me. Even now, if I go into the state capitol, I'm like, too many people on the road. And it's really light compared to Southern California. I went to go, let's see, this was in 2017, 2018, 19. I don't know. It was before all of this mess hit. And so I flew out to see my kids and surprise them and spend time with them and stuff. And before I left, I was like having anxiety nightmares about just the traffic, like landing at the airport and leaving the airport and getting on the 10 freeway. Just the panic of it just had me and I used to drive it all the time, but it's almost like you're so used to that stress all the time and you don't realize how stressful it is until you're away from it. And then you can just kind of finally relax. And then you think back about that. And it's almost like a weird, I don't want to discredit PTSD, but it's almost like a weird PTSD, of all that traffic and all those people and all of the negativity. I'll tell you, we went out to see our kids a couple years ago. And I really wish I could remember what year it was. I don't know I think Jim and I went first, and then the next year I went by myself. But anyways, we had gone out, and the community where we were at the time is a pretty decent community. And we were staying at a Hampton Inn. And so we had everything that we needed at the Hampton Inn. We stayed there a whole week because I didn't want to put my kids out. And we had our granddaughter with us. She'd come out from her home and she stayed with us at the hotel. I was like, oh, let's go to the hardware or the drugstore and let's go to a Red Box and we'll rent a movie. So it was Thrifty's. We pulled up in front of Thrifty's and my granddaughter and I hopped out. My husband said, I'll just go park in the parking lot and I'll wait for you. Okay. So usually he'll park like where there's not a lot of cars. He'll park kind of sideways so he can see the door so that when we come out, he can just pull around and pick us back up. Always done that. Well, this time he went to the least populated area of the parking lot and he kind of pulled kind of catty corner where there was a car parked normal and he parked kind of like behind it right here. Well, while he's sitting there waiting for me to come out, this man and woman walked to their car. That was their car. And they're just giving him this really suspicious look, like they don't know why he's there. And he's just like ignoring them because, in California, a lot of time you just don't make eye contact with people. So they get in their car and this guy whips around and drives so that his driver's side window is at Jim's driver's side window. And he pulls almost takes the mirror off of our rental car, pulls up right up to him, rolls his window down. So Jim's like, I don't know what's going on, but he rolls his window down. The guy goes, do you work for Sharky? And Jim's like, no. He goes, why are you parked behind me like that? And Jim says, my wife and my granddaughter are in the store. I'm just waiting for them to come back out. They're renting a movie. And the guy goes, you don't work for Sharky? And Jim says, no. And you could see the guy's got something in his hand and he's hunched up. And then he just kind of relaxes and he says, okay. He goes, I thought I was about ready to die. He thought whoever this Sharky is had sent Jim to kill him in the parking lot. And he had a gun drawn on Jim. We didn't take anything with us. I shouldn't have said that word. But I come back out to the car and he picks me up and he goes, we're getting out of here. And I said, what's wrong? He says, okay, get in the car. He goes, I think I just almost got whacked. It was so scary. We'd never experienced anything like that in California, but it's everywhere. I know. Just like we had that little potential carjacking thing back in September where somebody put the dollar bill on our windshield and it's a potential carjacking thing and people are coming over from Chicago and doing all kinds of weird stuff like that. So you just never know. Marlene is very rural. I live in a county that is almost 5,000 square miles, not a single stoplight, 2 grocery stores in different towns. Subway is the only fast food. I hear you on that one. I remember when we first moved here and we went to the town where Jim got a job. I said, let's go and we'll get something to eat. And we drive and it's like you pass a soybean oil company, and you go under the railroad tracks, and this tiny little downtown, and there's a McDonald's. And it's like, I don't eat McDonald's. It's like, we got to find something else. There was nothing for us to get something. I said, this is it. This is what we've got. It's what we've got. There is a Subway. So there's Subway, McDonald's, and a Dairy Queen, which I don't eat the food at either of those. And then the other little town we have is a McDonald's, a Subway, and a Hardee's. But the little town we're closest to has nothing, absolutely nothing. Doesn't have a store. It has a post office. The post office is this tiny little, like, 1-bedroom house. It's been converted into the post office. So when you walk into the living room, and that's the post office. Her whistle is impressive. She did a live the other day. I missed it, but I wonder what she'd say to see another LP. Your population in your town is 301. Okay, the whole county is 8901. Who's got a whistle? Who's got a whistle? Oh, the other LP must have a good whistle. Is that what I've missed? Because I've just been yammering and yammering and yammering. We have a town here with population 8. We have a town like that too, Lisa. It's just south of us, and it's just a road with a couple of houses on it, but it's a town. But they took down their town sign because I think they started getting a lot of looky-loos coming around. Somebody did a video on it, and so people were starting to come around. LP the singer, gotcha. I will have to look that up. I don't know who the singer is. But there was this video I saw a couple years ago. I don't know who it is. Maybe somebody here will know. I don't know. But I saw it and I was just like, what? And I'm not a prude. I am not a prude. But I saw this video and I was like, what in the world? What in the world is going on? So everybody, I'm sure, knows that after 2016, everybody wanted crocheted pink hats. And I had some people write me and say, will you make me a crocheted pink pea hat? I was like, no, I'm not doing the pink crocheted pea hats. I'm not doing the political stuff. Not going to do it. No pea hats here. But I saw this video and it's this singer. Gosh, I don't know who she is. But she has all of these other women singers with her. Hello, Marcia. Hello, Ann Lynn Show. Welcome, welcome, Ann or Lynn. Not sure who's in here with us. You're out in the field while your husband is hauling hay. I'll check out the song Lost on You. Thank you, Rochelle. I will. But this singer, she has all these backup singers. And I asked my niece, I said, I want to show you this video because she's kind of artsy-fartsy. I said, I kind of want to know what you think of it. And instantly she said, I don't judge people on anything. I'm accepting of all people. It's like, slow down. Slow down. I'm not bashing anybody because I don't know. Everything is so polarizing at that point. It's like, I'm not bashing anybody. Yes. Hello, Anne. So, but everybody in this video, they have, remember parachute pants like back in the late 80s, early 90s? Well, they have these like very flowy MC Hammer pants, okay? Very, very full pants, very flowy pink pants. They're kind of tie-dyed, so they're just a little bit deeper pink towards the center. Some of them have little tufts of fur. And I'm like, they're all big dancing vaginas. They were all big dancing vaginas. And I just wanted to ask my niece, what do you think of this video? She goes, I'd wear those pants. It's like, who are you? I would not be caught dead in a pair of vagina pants. They were just big vaginas. And in parts of the video, like the women would like crawl through each other's legs like they're being born. Never seen anything like it in my life. Oh, hello, the Ellen Show. Right? And I was just like I said, I'm not a prude, but I could not believe that it was fashionable and that my niece, who grew up in this tiny little Midwest town, was like, yeah, I'd wear those pants. Don't be asking Auntie Alicia to crochet them for you because I'm not making the hats or the pants. I did have somebody on my crochet page for the longest time, and they were even a Facebook friend for the longest time. Never met them in person, but they lived in a very small mountain community where I grew up. And so, we would talk about commonalities of, growing up in this little mountain town and everything. And I actually became acquaintances with him through the page for that little town. And Loving County, Texas has a total population of 169, 677 square miles is the size of the county. That's crazy. Yeah, can't touch this is right. Now I've got a Barbara Streisand song in my head. Good Lord. Touch me in the morning. Okay. So I met him on this one page about the community we grew up in, and then he sent me a friend request and I accepted it, and then he joined my crochet page. And the day came where I had to finally I'm uncomfortable, so I'm just gonna have to block you, because he wanted me, and I'm not joking when I say this. I mean, you probably are already there with what I'm gonna say. My yarn is stuck. He wanted me to make him a crocheted penis protector sock with a place for his Ghibli bits and everything, with a little tie to keep it warm. I'm not making those. Again, I'm not a prude, but if I make them and I put them on a shop and you want to buy them, that's one thing. But knowing that I'm a married woman, and even though my scruples are questionable, I'm not making you a penis sock. I'm not going to do it. And he kept asking me when I was going to make them. I finally had to let him go. I had to let him go. And only has McDonald's, Taco Bell, Burger King, and Subway. Oh, I'd love it if we had a Burger King right here so I could go get an Impossible Burger. I love the Impossible Burgers. I don't eat Mickey D's. Taco Bell is very questionable. Subway, they'll make some stuff for me. But I have considered, with my cotton material, I do want to make the sleeves. Again, I have to watch my hand actions. I want to make the sleeves that you put on the handles of your cast iron skillets, so you can pick up your cast iron skillets. But I'd like to make them just really nice patterns. But there is a pattern where you can make little penis ones that you slide onto your skillets. I just might. Oh, Laura, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you had a good time. Good luck with your move. I know you're super, super busy. You want a KFC. Oh gosh. Since we're talking KFC, let me see if I can find it. You guys are gonna, I don't know if I've showed it before. Let me see. Let me go to my brother's. This is my brother-in-law's page. And let me see if I can find where I'm looking for. Because I think this is a pretty cool part of our family history. Is that the wrong Joseph? I don't think that's the right one. So I will give you a little background while I'm looking for this. There we go. I just think there's just too many of these people. My husband's grandparents, they were close personal friends with the Colonel. And they had 3 KFC stores before Jim was born and when he was little. And let's see. Let me see if I can open his pictures here so I can find it for you. And so the Colonel was a staple in their lives when he was little. And his sister has pictures of all of the kids sitting on the Colonel's lap for pictures. And they would all get together. the Colonel and the grandma and the grandpa, they would all get together in Hot Springs, Arkansas to go to the horse races at the Avenel horse race track. And, rumor has it that the Colonel had quite the thing for old grandma. And he used to chase her around the table because he wanted to give her a little pinchy and then some. So I'm scrolling to see if I can find the pictures of the family with Colonel Sanders. And I just don't know what album he's put them in or how far back I have to scroll. But it's a pretty cool part of the history. And I was sharing that history one day, and I've got a friend that I met, 10 years ago. And she says, oh my gosh, my dad used to do the rolls. Before they went to biscuits, they had rolls. And he was a representative for the roll company. And he used to fly all over the place. He goes, I bet you my dad used to hang out with Jim's folks. It's like, oh, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I don't know if I'm going to find them. He's got so many pictures. This boy takes more pictures of his car. Well, anyways, we've got lots of pictures with the Colonel. The Colonel was so much a part of our life. I know, it's a rabbit hole of a search. Pink, P-Y-N-K. Thank you for the Christmas card. Don't have your mailing address to send y'all one back. Oh, Gail, to the Ann Lynn show. Yes. When we got married, Jim had a Colonel Sanders tie tack. We had Colonel Sanders ashtrays, even though we didn't smoke. We had Colonel Sanders towels for the kitchen. We had Colonel Sanders candles. We had Colonel Sanders everything. Everything. It was just everywhere. Let me look at this. COLONELSANDERS. I don't know if he has a U or not. Let's look at photos. Posted by my friend, Joe. Oh, there's nothing there. Photos posted by my friends. Let's see if we can. You know how many people post pictures of KFC? It's not there either. Someday I'll find it. But, my brother-in-law worked for KFC for so long that he actually opened up his own chicken store, and KFC came and investigated him. They wanted to make sure that he had not stolen any recipes, that he was not doing anything that KFC did. And they would say, hey, your coleslaw is exactly like KFC's coleslaw. You can't sell this anymore. And my brother-in-law he'd say, your coleslaw is coarse cut. My coleslaw is fine cut. I can sell it. And they had him over a barrel. And KFC is owned by Pepsi. So when Coca-Cola found out about this restaurant opening up in Texas, they supplied everything he needed for Coke products. Goodbye, Lynette. I'm sorry if I'm boring you about KFC. Oh, searching for the song. Oh, yeah. A rabbit hole. Now I get it. That's true. I don't know who sang it. It's not going to be like that Alexa commercial where you can just say, the music video with vagina pants. I mean, you're not going to find it. I'll find it. I'll find it somewhere. But you know what? I've got something pulled up on YouTube. So let's just do that. And let me see if I can share because I want to talk about something. I'm going to stop that share screen and I'm going to share something and I'm going to go to share screen and I'm going to do it again because I meant to do this earlier. And I'm going to go to a Slim Jet tab and I'm going to go here. And I want to share our friends over at E3 Farmstead. If you have not had the opportunity yet to go over and visit Chris and Sarah, I would like to encourage you to head on over, check out their channel, give them a little love. If you see some videos that you find interesting, then subscribe to them. Watch a couple of videos, give them a thumbs up and a couple of comments, and just let them know that Country Mama sent you over. Nice little family. There's Sarah and Chris and their son Jacob. So they could use some love right now, and I really enjoy chatting with them. So if you get a chance, go on over to E3 Farmstead. You almost put your E3 shirt on today, Rochelle. There is no place that we can get fried chicken or roasted chicken where you are. I'm sorry to hear that, Anne. Janelle Monet Pink. Is that who I'm talking about? Is that who it is? LP? Let's just see. That spelling of pink. That's it. That's the name of the video. That is exactly it. I don't know if I share that screen if I would get in trouble. But guys, I don't understand who would show up for a casting call and go like, yep, I'm going to wear me some pink vagina pants. Oh, Lord. So yeah, the video is PYNK. Wearing my Lazy Day shirt instead because I'm doing a mail call. That's lovely. I ordered one of my own shirts. I'm not happy with it. It's too dark. Can't read it. But I do need to get some other shirts, but got to get some money flowing in before I can buy anything. I know that I've had a couple people say, got to subscribe, not just subscribe, but, become a member of my channel. It's like, I would like to do that. But this mama doesn't, I don't work outside the home, and I don't want to take Papa Jim's money and then say, well, I joined this and joined that, and this is you're supporting it. You're paying for it all. I like to have a little bit of respect there. It's bad enough that he supports all of the other little crazy things that I do. Yeah, pass on looking that up. Ann Lynn. But it's funny. It is funny. Yeah, I'm not going to put it up, LP. I don't want to get in trouble. But it's interesting. It's one of those things that make you go, Rochelle, it's PYNK pink. It is a mind blower. Got to start making money before I spend it on my YouTube. I hear you. That's absolutely right. Well, anyways, guys, it is 1 hour and 56 minutes into this little crochet, coffee, unmentionables, butter, all kinds of weirdness that we've talked about today. And I think I'm going to cut it off here in the next few minutes because I've got stuff I need to do too. I love spending time with you. Look, my washcloth's like a third of the way done. Look at the texture. Isn't that a beautiful little texture on that dishcloth? And you can't tell because of the light. I don't know. Can I get it? Look, it's like little Christmas colors. Aren't those pretty? It's a white background with little evergreen and peppermint candy cane red. So I'll be getting this one ready. I've got to get my stuff ready to mail out tomorrow. I've got some videos. Oh, I know what I was going to talk about earlier. I was talking about my pantry. What was the streaming thing you used the other day besides StreamYard? I used it last night and I used it the other day too. And I learned about it from Lisa. It is called Melon, MELON. I used it last night, but I wasn't happy with the results, but I think most of it was because of my phone. I've got to figure out what the deal is with my phone. But otherwise, and it did freeze up on me twice last night, not the phone, but Melon froze up on me last night. I'm glad you love your washcloth, Brenda. It does. It looks like a little candy cane, doesn't it? You need one that I can share the screen easily. It's taken me a little while to learn about how to share this screen, but so far so good. I was able to do it. Okay, Ann Lynn, we will see you. I was just getting ready to hop off anyways, but I did want to say I was talking about my pantry earlier. Thank you so much for stopping in, Ann. It's so good to have you. I love that I've been challenged to make something, and there's stuff in my pantry that I probably shouldn't be eating anymore. And the challenge is for like a holiday gift. And I know I've got elements in there to make something really fun. And I've got packaging up here to package it up for Christmas. So I don't know if I'm doing it today or maybe tomorrow, maybe Friday when it's snowing. I will be able to make a video of what I'm going to make for gift giving. So I will be making enough to maybe give to my family local. Because because I don't know how well it would travel since it's coming out of my pantry. But that's what I'll be doing, and I'm happy that I'm going to be able to make that little video. But I've got more videos. I'm going to go downstairs when I'm done here. I'm going to do a video, and I don't know when I'll get them posted, but I'm doing a video on how I make my own veggie broth, my video for French onion soup. I might do the video for the Christmas gift. I wrote down a bunch of things I just need to get. I need to get going and get some more videos going because I don't have anything in the wings to put up. My chili video was the last one that I had all ready to go. I've got to get filming some more stuff. So that is what I will be doing later today, maybe a little bit Friday as the snow flies. So keep an eye out things for those. So you enjoyed the live. Thank you so much for showing up and spending a little time with me. I appreciate all of you being here with me today. And I really didn't mean to go 2 hours. I didn't think I'd have much to talk about. But once I get started and all that hot air goes over these lips and they get chopped, and then I just don't get anything done. And Papa Jim comes home. He says, "What'd you do all day?" It's like, I did lots. All right, my friends, I love all of you. I appreciate you showing up, and I will talk to you soon. Take care of yourself. And as I always say, and I will show snow. Once I get a good layer of snow, I will show some snow. As I say at the end of every video, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and have a blessed day. I will be speaking to you soon. Bye-bye.